we're joined on the line by the head of sales at Regina Capital, Luis Limlingan. Luis, it's good to have you with us. You can help us understand what's going on. In the U.S., stocks rallied on account of Trump's win. Here in the Philippines, we're going in the opposite direction. What's your take on the situation?
Yes, good morning, Mikey. Thank you for having me today. It's quite eventful, no, the last 2 days. But I think it's just a lot of speculation at this point as to what we think is going to be the effect of a Trump administration. Well, I just like to point out to investors that it's not the first time we've seen this because he did serve from 2016 to 2020. So I'm also trying to make sense of why there's a lot of this selling. People are pointing out that maybe it's effect of what they immediately see is that one of the policies that the future Trump administration wants to enact is across the board tariff increase of 10 to 20%, and then there's one specifically targeted to China of at least 60%. So we don't know if this how soon and the full extent of this, but I think we think that a lot of the reaction to the selling is because of what they're seeing with regards to trade.
Mm-hmm. The interesting thing about Trump is that this is 2.0. We had a glimpse of what a Trump presidency was like. In what ways do you think this presidency will be any different from his first salvo?
Well, I think the future Trump administration wants to make it clear that I think they want to focus more on the U.S. and I'm not sure exactly on what in the priority is trade, but at least for the American citizens, I think it's more about fiscal policy. For example, I think he wants to. I think there's going to be an expansion of the 2017 the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, no. So probably you could see reduced corporate and personal income tax. So I think that's what he wants to focus on. It's not, well, of course, it's not really a concern of the Philippines, but more on, I guess, the border control, illegal immigration. So I'm not sure what is going to be his priorities on the list when he sits down. But I think in terms of us, the Philippines and the market is concerned, we're really focused on the trading impact. Given that I think out of last year we traded, I think, 100 billion worth of exports. I think around 10 to 12% found its way into the U.S.
Yeah, the trading impact is going to be interesting because the U.S. is the Philippines' top export destination, accounting for $1.1 billion or 70% of total exports. So that is going to be a downer. What is your take on the short to medium term outlook for the PSE index on account of Trump's victory? Today, we're well entrenched in the red. Do you see this trend, what we're seeing today, do you expect it to continue over the short to medium term?
Well, I think at a certain point, I think the selling is going to be overdone, right? Because I think maybe after this week, investors are really going to focus their attention on the long-term prospects, right? For example, we're going to today. I think it's already overshadowing the fact that they're going to release the third quarter GDP, and everyone is hoping that's going to. It's still going to be we're seeing at least 6%, no. So that's already taking a back seat. Even the corporate earnings, which have already mostly come in, and they're doing pretty well. So at a certain point, I think the investors have to say, well, they're saying to the market, and yes, I think their concerns are warranted, but they have to also consider that this market is already becoming attractive once again, and I think there might be opportunities to do some bottom fishing.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a deep sale in the market right now with the PSE index down 2%, and all these sub-indices are down by almost as much. What would you say, Luis, would be the support for the market? Should we break the 7,000 level today?
Well, that's something that we hope doesn't really happen. But if it does break the 7,000 level, perhaps we're looking at an immediate support of around 6,800. But of course, everyone is watching it. The 7,000 is a psychological support, so I hope it can withstand that selling at least for this weekend. I hope during the weekend, I think investors probably, in my opinion, they just want to keep to cash first. And I think they want to re-strategize how they're going to deploy their excess funds once they've already sold by the end of the weekend.
Okay, Luis, one more question before I let you go. For those that want to capitalize on the losses in the market today, for those that want to position for better times ahead, what are the stocks that you suggest, that you recommend that they pick up right now that the market is down by so much?
Well, I think what I tell investors is more basic strategy is just go for the defensive stocks at this point, because at least for a downturn, one is at least you won't see that much price volatility. Second is these defensive stocks also pay a good dividend. At least you will be shielded for the next few weeks and months. But again, if you're more on the risk off, and you think that this overselling is a bit, I think, overdone, you can probably venture into the other more price more volatile assets, such as maybe in the property sector, maybe even look at some of the consumer names perhaps, but probably if not, then we go into more defensive names.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Luis. Thank you for helping us make sense of the market's current downtrend.
All right, thank you very much, Mikey.
And that was Luis Limlingan, the head of sales at Regina Capital.